Hey guys, earlier today I picked up this weapon called Thin Line. It's an energy hand cannon that goes in your secondary slot. I got this as a random drop from doing the Spider's Wanted bounties, but I believe it can drop almost anywhere since it's not specific to any activity. And I wanted to make a little video on this weapon to show you guys, for those of you maybe looking for something to use, because it's actually quite a nice hand cannon for PvE. In PvP it's not too bad either, but I'll come to that later. So, taking a look at the weapon, as we can see from the stats, it's a very high impact hand cannon. It also has a lot of range. Stability and handling is, to be honest, where it kind of falls off, but don't let that put you off just yet. And reload speed is also on the slow side. However, I think due to the weapon's high impact and range, it doesn't really matter too much, and you'll see what I mean. So, why do I think this weapon is worth checking out? Well, due to the fact that random rolls are back, with the right perks, this thing is a nice little runner. What makes it for me is that on mine I have Rampage, so with each kill this weapon's damage further increases, stacking up to 3 times. As for my other perks, I have Quick Draw, High Caliber Rounds or Light Mag, True Sight HCS or Crossfire HCS, and then my Masterwork increases the handling of the weapon. To be honest, the perks could be better, but Rampage alone and just the feel of this gun is why I've grown rather fond of it. I was trying it out earlier during some heroic missions and heroic strikes, and it was popping heads. It just felt really nice to use. Despite what the stats say and despite the kick from the recoil, it's actually really easy to pull back to an enemy's head for that one-shot kill, which then of course activates the Rampage perk. So what I was able to do with this thing was take out some of these smaller ads, popping them one by one, and then using the damage increase to take out bigger yellow bar targets. Now if this had something like Outlaw, this weapon would be a beauty. If you're playing as a gunslinger hunter, something like Chain of Woe would also work nicely with this, or if you're playing as a solo titan, the Tempered Metal would also work well to increase the reload speed dramatically. So this weapon does have some serious potential, which is why I would have liked to have shown that off if I'd managed to get the right perk roll, but even still, just with Rampage, this weapon is really satisfying to use. Now I'm sure some of you are probably asking, why would I want to use this hand cannon over something like the Ace of Spades, which is also a high impact hand cannon with Rampage and overall much better stats and perks. Well, for one, this is a legendary hand cannon, whereas the Ace of Spades is exotic, so it frees up your slot to use another exotic if you wish, and it goes in your secondary weapon slot as opposed to your primary. So really it just gives you more options of weapons to use. So for example, if you want to use Hawthorne shotgun in your primary, you could run this hand cannon in your secondary. I definitely think it's worth checking out, especially with the right perks in PvE. Now as for PvP, it's not terrible. Hand cannons did get a buff with Forsaken, so that they can now 3-tap more consistently, and this weapon is a very high impact hand cannon, so this does help, and I did manage to get a couple of nice clips with this thing. In fact, it is able to 2-tap enemies if you get the Rampage perk to proc. There were a few moments in the Crucible where I felt like I was destroying with this thing due to the fact that Rampage was active and I was just 2-tapping enemies before they could even tell what was going on. Although due to the fact this weapon does feel a little bit heavy, a little bit slow to use, and only has 9 rounds in the magazine, did feel like I was reloading a lot and maybe wasn't exactly the best weapon to use in the Crucible, but like I say, it's an option. Overall, the Thin Line is a really hard hitting hand cannon that I think cleans up real nicely in PvE. I think it's worth a try if this weapon drops for you and if you have a good roll on it. Like I say, I just have Rampage on mine and I'm really happy with it. If you guys do manage to get any weapons with a sweet roll on it, do send me a picture on Twitter, links in the description as well as all my other social media. Anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed the video, a like would be super appreciated. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.